Hey guys, welcome back. Before we get into today's episode, good news is less than 30 days, we are going on tour. The tickets are flying right now, and I am on cloud 9. I am so grateful. I love you guys so much. But please, oh please, oh please, do not wait last minute to get the tickets. Make sure you guys go get your tickets at thegeorgejankoshow.com. The first 2 shows coming up, Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. Those are the first 2 up. I love you guys so much, and enjoy today's episode with my beautiful wife, Shawna. Life would get so suffocating that I had to take a moment to numb myself. Or in my brain at the time, I would become something I didn't want to be. Having your eyes on him isn't just your eyes, it's your heart, it's your mouth, it's your ears. There's so many people that have the presence of God right in front of them, but they just don't have the faith.
It gives you greater understanding as to like how big of a sacrifice it is of like what Jesus did for us and like what God did for us in that moment.
There's a form of guilt where you're like, I can't even believe I doubted my God. I don't need to be in Santorini to have the greatest day of my life. I just need to break bread with my wife and watch her just dive fully into the Lord. And it was my favorite moment.
I'm just playing, I don't fight, I just pray. I only go the way of mistake.
That's lovely, George. I love it. It's a real gift to be around.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's a very good question.
I love you guys.
You've given me something to think about.
Going for a lot of outlets.
Hello.
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 Hi. Everybody doing good?
Good. How you doing?
Dude, doing so good. Why do I always have to burp after I just go? Hold on, I'm so sorry. This is every time.
Oh, because you're taking a breath. Oh.
Oh, I think I just threw up a little bit.
Ew, Georgie.
I'm so sorry. I'm just so excited. By the way, I just want to talk about this. My energy's been a nuisance. It's been a real Gavin nuisance lately. because I'll tell you why. Here's the reason why. Some days I'm like, yo, I got it. I got it in control, right? But what happens with the days that I have jet lag or coffee or too much? Like we had our guest, Allie, right?
Yeah.
What's her thing? Christ on coffee on ice or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did I do? I tried to put some coffee on. But the whole time, I'm like... Okay, right? But then sometimes I'll be with Dr. Jordan Peterson. I'll be like this.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. And then I read comments and people are like, dude, let your guest speak. But I can't because I'm like a squirrel looking for a nut. I'm just all over the place everywhere at all times. And I just feel like when I read those comments, Belle, they hurt because they sound just like my teachers in school.
Ugh.
And those teachers were mean to me.
Dude, honestly, remember when we were talking about your teacher at the pool?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like these stories make my blood boil because I can just picture little Georgie, and little Georgie makes me like, oh my, it can make me cry. And like the way when you told me the story of you sitting out on the curb.
There's a lot of things that I went through as a kid, and I didn't know, well, like, kids shouldn't go through that. Like the one that she's talking about was there was a teacher in my neighborhood, and that family didn't like me. So during like birthdays, all the kids were allowed to go inside, and Belle hates this story, but all the kids were allowed to go inside and have cake and stuff, but the mom was like, oh, there's too many kids, so George, you have to sit outside. So I would sit on the curb, but I had such a good imagination that I would play outside and have a great time. And also, like, I knew that, like, some people just didn't like me. So, like, when I was in the 6th grade, like, yeah, I don't think anybody should tell, like, a little boy, like, hey, you should wait outside while everybody outside waiting cake.
Yeah.
But I always looked at the bright things in life, and I remember till this day, I was like, it's okay, I don't like cake. So, like, I don't like eating cake, so I would have just sat there watching them eat cake anyway. So in my mind, I was like, I'll just be outside. Sun's outside, it's beautiful outside.
I mean, thank God for your like point of view, you know what I mean? Even as a kid, but bro, like what kind of adult literally makes a kid sit out in Arizona, in the Arizona heat?
But we took care of her. Remember what we did?
Yeah. Should we tell them?
You can tell them.
We ding dong ditched her.
We're grown ass people, bro. We are grown ups. And I was driving around, I was showing her my old neighborhood, and I told her, I was like, oh, by the way, this is the house. And then I looked at her, I was like, you want to ding dong ditch him? And she was like, okay. And then so I parked my car. Bro, I'm a grown man. I have 2 mortgages, and I'm literally ding dong ditching.
When was it? Was this 2 years ago? I would say,
They might have a Ring camera. I know we gotta still be like, you know.
they have the Ring camera, George.
Imagine she's watching this. She's like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. Yeah. Why did we get here? I'm so sorry. I was just all like ADHD.
The comments hurt your feelings because they remind you of your
Yeah,
teachers.
yeah. And by the way, like, I agree. I definitely should let my guests speak a little bit more. But I just get so excited. But these are the same fundamentals that I failed as a child. Like, I would just be so just... I remember one time my mom, this is one of her favorite stories. She goes, I made her and the teacher laugh because... When I was a kid, I didn't mean to be funny, but this is like the truth of it.
Yeah.
I would always get in detention for talking in class. I would always try to tell jokes. And one time, the teacher pulled me aside with my mom, and she goes, you know, George, this is unnecessary. You could do this at lunch, but you keep losing your lunch because you keep talking in class. And my mom turns to me and she goes, why can't you just wait until lunch to tell your jokes? And I'm just a little kid. I'm in the 3rd grade. And, I didn't mean to be funny, but I looked at her. I was like, it's all about the timing. And she just dies of laughter. She's like, I can't get mad at this kid, bro. But yeah, no, I hear your guys' feedback. I am absolutely trying to like work on it. Can we fix the swinging of this real quick? Could you tighten this in the back? This is Grant, by the way.
Woo, Grant.
Thanks, Grant. Yeah. Grant, hurry up. I'm just kidding. I make him stressed. Thank you so much. Perfect, Grant. Just perfect. Beautiful, man. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm hearing the feedback, but if we're talking about our guests, I would actually like to discuss, because we had a few cool guests, dude.
Yeah,
like we
did.
never really did a recap on it, but Allie was amazing.
Yeah, she was so wonderful. And I think it was such a perfect timing kind of thing. Like Georgie and Jessica were at home and they were talking about like guests that we're going to have in the future. And I come home and I'm like, guess who I just ran into? It was so beautiful. And then they're like, dude, you should call her and invite her on. It was like so perfect. And that was just, I'm so grateful to have met her. She's so wonderful.
I felt like I knew her so much longer than I knew her. Like that was the only time I've ever hung out with her or ever met her.
Yeah.
And when I was watching that episode back, I was dying of laughter. She's very much up our alley. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Dude, people are watching this and they're like, why do I watch this show?
No, I like it. You should just go with it. Be confident
Thank
about
you.
it.
I should be confident about it.
Yeah.
What am I doing? We had Dr. Jordan Peterson. Actually, we were sitting here when we had Dr. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
And that meant the world to me because the first episode was a bit of swing of a miss. You crushed it. You crushed him all the time. Like that episode.
Wow, the first episode we did with him, I barely even said anything.
Nah, but what you said, it's on the money.
Thanks, babe.
No, you crushed it. And you've been doing so well. I've been loving the feedback that I've been reading about you.
Thank
I
you.
pulled her aside and go, hey, don't outshine me. Don't outshine me. I start sitting there deleting comments. Oh my God. Bro, there's
Oh God,
people
that'd
that
be
like,
awful.
they don't like their significant other to do well.
Yeah.
To me, I take pride in you doing well. I feel like we're one. You know what I mean?
Of
Like if you're
course.
doing well, I'm doing well.
Of course. 100%. I see it that way.
If I'm hyper, we're hyper.
Right. I think we balance each other out nicely.
We do balance each other out. By the way, I just want to let you guys know we started this episode like 3 times, and I was like dying. I was just like I had a pounding headache because we just came back from like overseas, and there's so much good stuff I'm about to tell you, but my energy was a little all over the place, and Belle's family was here, and we took them outside, and it was like 120 degrees in Arizona, and so like I was just really getting beat down on the sun. So I had to take a bit and take some medication, but I'm back.
You back?
I'm back.
You're back. Let's talk about our vacation.
What was your favorite part? I'm so glad we restarted, guys. Wow. I feel amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Tylenol, extra strength. Tylenol? Mm-hmm. Tylenol, extra strength.
An emergency.
An emergency with some water. Chef's kiss, bro.
Little Celtic salt.
Little Celtic salt underneath the tongue, though. Let's not play around. Just little Salt Bay came in here and he went, and I went, you just,
Took a little sun bath.
did I take Tylenol or crack? Why am I
We got a
all
little
over the place?
You got a little spit right there.
A little spit?
Yeah, that's gone.
That was so embarrassing. But it's together.
I wasn't gonna let.
We had spit.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
What was your favorite part?
That's so hard. I have so many thoughts. I think truly my favorite activity that we did was the boat. was the boat on my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
In Greece, because that was so wonderful.
In Greece.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in Italy.
I mean, that was super fun too.
Oh, I like that. I honestly enjoyed the Italy one more than the...
You did?
Yeah, so you explained the Greece one, and then
Okay.
I'll explain the Italy one.
Okay.
Please go.
So, first of all, I just want to start by saying that Georgie like planned everything for me, which was so wonderful. We had the most beautiful time, and down like to the activities and our options, it was wonderful. And so for on the actual day of my birthday, he had this boat ride planned where there's like a captain and a co-captain. Would you call him?
I don't know.
Okay, and these two wonderful gentlemen, and they took us on this boat, and they took us through Greece, and we stopped by, Red Rock Beach and the White Sand Beach, and then he took us to this little island, and we snorkeled, which was so cool. I've never.
Yeah, we get to feed fish.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was so cool.
But watching fish eat while you're like looking down at them, like in the water, they're just like,
We're with them.
they look like piranhas just.
Yeah, we were like with them. Like I was like trying to touch them. Like I think a few touched my feet. Yeah. But so yeah, that was so wonderful. And while we're like driving through like the Greek water, we're laying on the boat like this. We kind of took like a little nap, and they were so nice. So anyways, then we're snorkeling. We're seeing all these cool fishes. I saw these fish that were like pink and purple and green.
Yeah, neon looking ones.
Oh,
yeah.
they were so cool. And then while we're snorkeling, they were making us dinner, which was like crazy.
Fresh fish, by the way. It
Yeah.
was kind of crazy.
Fresh fish on salad with some shrimp on pasta and a Greek salad and the grape leaf rice thing. Which
Dolma.
Dolma. First
Dolma.
time. Dolma.
Dolma.
Dolma. First time
Do you want some dolma?
I do want some dolma, but I only want the dolma from there. That's the first time I've ever liked dolma.
Yeah, dolma's nasty.
Here.
I love how we just hyped it up and then we just didn't even like it. They always try to like feed it to you as if it's like God's gift to earth. That should have been left in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, but that one, the one that they made there,
Yeah.
was.
It was okay.
Are you serious?
I just don't like sour stuff while I'm eating like
I don't know,
rice
it was
and meat. You know what I mean? Like
No, it was really
like
good.
lebne, fire. Which
No.
by the way, sorry to sidestep on you guys, but my fellow Middle Easterns will know what I'm talking about. Lebne. Okay, the real stuff. Not the fake stuff. Lebne. Take that. Usually they eat it with rice, some meat. Sometimes people dip it with bread. That's lebne, right? But what you need to do, you go to the Middle Eastern place, you grab lebne, okay? I'm teaching you how to say it, so that way you can say it right. You grab the lebne, then you go to your regular like Fry's or Ralph's or any grocery store, you get flaming hot Doritos. Or if you're Mexican, flaming hot Cheetos. Because I know my Mexican people love flaming hot Cheetos. I grew up in Arizona and I ate it with my Mexican friends so much I went to the hospital, but that's a whole different story. Okay, well, by the way, flaming hot Cheetos and Gatorade. I had a bag of this. We'll get into that story after we're done with the lebne story, okay? So, take the flaming hot Doritos, take lebne, put it into the lebne like a little dip. Put it in your mouth. You're welcome. And if you're going to do it, record yourself and send it to me because I'm telling you, I've blew my Caucasian friends away. Blew them back. They had no idea what they were doing. There's going to be so many comments underneath because if they're in the club and they know what's going on. And it's not like Fight Club. Tell everybody about it.
I'm not in the club. I don't like it.
Just hype this thing up like crazy. Okay, before I go into my Doritos thing, please continue your thing.
Right. So, they're making us this beautiful dinner. When we're snorkeling, they literally call us little kids, dinner's ready.
And we're snorkeling. We're just...
We come back on the boat and they pour us some beautiful wine and we ate, this like gorgeous view of like the little island of Greece. It was so gorgeous. And then on our way back, we stopped by the volcanic rocks and saw the inactive volcano and the active volcano. And then we rode back for sunset and he made us a beautiful little yogurt fruit dessert. It was just so wonderful. It was like the perfect day.
That was great. Actually, I take it back. That one was a lot better than the other one.
It was so wonderful.
Yeah.
And at one point we jumped off the boat too, remember?
We jumped off the boat all the time.
Well, yeah, but I just love that.
Yeah, it's great.
You did a beautiful dive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing that up. Really hyping your man up.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Doritos or or Cheetos. Okay, so I'm in Arizona, right? And if you're brown, you're most likely Mexican. They even looped me into it. Like I didn't even have my own ethnicity. It's like you're either white or you're Mexican. This is how I grew. Especially if you go up to Copper Canyon, Explorer, Pinnacle. These are the really, really prep white kids, right? So they just kind of funneled us all in together. And what I picked up from my nice Mexican friends is flaming hot Cheetos. I don't know why nobody introduced me to these before, but it was great. Now, I'm not really too crazy with spice, but when I'm eating them, and Belle could vouch for me, I sweat. Like it looks like I'm in a sauna. My head, it's profusely like it just sweats.
Not healthy.
Right. Okay. So now, if we're gonna bring up race, let's bring up race. I'm Middle Eastern. What does my dad have? Liquor store. Okay, so we have endless amounts of chips and Gatorade. So I used to be very, very dumb growing up. And my mom and dad were like, we can't have our kid be dumb. We got to put him in Sylvan's Learning Center. So they put me in Sylvan's Learning Center. And it was like, okay, Sylvan isn't just for dumb people, actually. I should take it back. People that go to Harvard, well, by the way, this is what they told me. I could have been lied to. Okay. But like people that really want to push themselves, they put it here. I just needed more than a push. I was just really bad in school. They didn't know I was dyslexic, by the way. I just want that to be said, okay? So it wasn't really my fault. Well, it was my fault. We're getting off topic. Let's reel it back. So I'm in Sylvan's Learning Center, and my mom and, excuse me. I'm in Sylvan's Learning Center, and my mom and dad are like, yo, you could get whatever snacks you want, because remember, I'm an ADHD kid. I'm a little boy. I just go from school not wanting to pay attention, and now after school, instead of putting me in like basketball or jiu-jitsu, they're putting me in Sylvan Learning Center. So they're trying to get me to be excited about going there. So my dad got me flaming hot Doritos bags this big, okay?
Wait, how old are you?
Gator. Young, bro. I'm saying like 6th grade. If at the old, no, yeah, it has to be 6th grade. It has to be 6th grade.
Oh my gosh, that's so spicy for your stomach in the 6th grade.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah, now I understand.
Okay, yeah. So, I get a bag this big. What am I doing? I'm a snacker. So I'm snacking. They're like, I'm just eating away. Have to take a break. It's too spicy. Yellow Gatorade. Pop, 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 pop. By the way, not a so sorry. I'm so excited that I feel better because I have so much energy now. I just wanted to put that out there. Not the small Gatorade, the big boy. So I got the big boy bag and this. My parents didn't think I was gonna eat both of these things to the like emptiness of it, because I'm like a tiny little boy. But when I'm bored, I'm just like eating. And
you're creating a chemical like eruption here,
dude. So I finish eating the whole bag. In fact, I still remember the lady that was like tutoring me. She was just like, that's a lot. And I was like, it's fine. So I threw it all away because it was trash. I went home. I'm walking up the stairs because it's bedtime, but like I'm hyped up. I'm a little kid. I just had all that sugar. I feel good. I'm walking up the stairs. My heart is beating really bad, like really, really bad. And I just keep grabbing my chest and I'm not feeling good. And all of a sudden, I'm getting a sharp pain right here, like my sternum. Yeah. But like a sharp pain. Like it feels like somebody took a knife, put it in me, and started twisting it around. Mm-hmm. Now, Belle knows this about me. Grant doesn't, but I have a very high pain tolerance. Mm-hmm. Belle will see me get hurt, and I just walk it off and move on. So my parents thought I was messing around, and I kept grabbing my chest. I'm like, guys, I don't feel good. Because like I always like joke around too much.
Yeah, you're messing with me.
This is my dad's fault. Which, by the way, I want to tell a story about how I messed around with you at the.
Oh my god!
Greece. Okay, but George, gather it. You're doing too much. Okay. So I'm going up the stairs. And I kept grabbing my chest. I'm at the top of the stairs, and I turn to my mom. And I go, Mom, I think I'm having a heart attack. Now I'm in the 6th grade. So Mom looks at me and she goes, oh yeah, and I faint. And I fall down the stairs. Oh my God. My mom, you could imagine. My mom is a worrywart. She's already screaming at the highest level she could scream. My baby! She's grabbing me. She's crying. I wake up in the car Oh, I'm so sorry. I wake up once in the ambulance. So like I had so much pain, my body passed out. So I woke up once. I was in the ambulance. I just see my mom and dad looking at me in the ambulance. It worries me so much. I pass out again.
Oh my God.
So,
But you passed out.
so I passed out from the pain, and then I passed out from being in the ambulance. Then I wake up, and they're running tests on me. They're doing all these things. Lo and behold, the doctor walks in, hands me this pink goo. He goes, just drink this. I drink it. Oh, I feel a lot better. Acid reflux.
Pepto-Bismol.
Acid reflux. Excuse my language. I know a lot of people don't like me to swear, so cover ears if you get a little sensitive, but I have to say exactly what my dad says. I'm in the 6th grade. I'm laying in the hospital. My dad looks at me and goes, you're never fucking eating Doritos again. So he looks at me. He goes, I don't want to drink the drink because it's disgusting, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to drink it. I was like, oh, I don't want to drink it. My dad's like, drink it. $4,000 for a ambulance. Bro, for years afterwards at the liquor store, he would never let me touch it.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not because of my health. It was because of the bill. My dad goes, acid reflux? $4,000 for the ambulance to come grab me.
I mean, dude, that's like a big deal. That's a big deal. Also, wait, when at the hospital did the doctor find out that you had the flaming hot Doritos?
Oh, they ran so many tests and they
Or
realized there's nothing
Cheetos.
wrong with me. So they found out that and this is, by the way, like, I didn't know this is a possibility, but if an acid reflux gets to a point where it burns, it really does feel like a heart attack.
Yeah, right.
Like, I've never had it at that level before, but if you have like a really, really bad one, you're already kind of in pain. But if you have like an extreme one, especially maybe because I was younger, oh, bro, it was the worst pain I think I've ever been through. It literally felt like a knife went through me.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Speaking of messing with people,
Yeah.
do you want to tell them what I did do?
Well, okay. Well, I'll start it, but I think you have to like fulfill the rest because you'll tell it better. But okay, so we are in Italy.
I'm so sorry, but the reason why we do this is because Bella and I love to act. So we like to do these things where, well, mostly me, but like we like to do these things where if we could really make this person believe this lie, then we're amazing actors. Like it has to be so ridiculous but so believable that we always know we're doing this to each other, but we still have to out-act each other and then really commit. This is one of my favorite ones, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're in Italy. And by the way, wait, I just want to throw this in there. That like being on vacation, you know, a lot of people like the jet lag ruins them. And it fixed us. It literally fixed us. It renewed us because we had such a bad sleeping habit. For some reason, we got there. We're waking up at 7 a.m., going to breakfast by 8 a.m. every single morning. We had breakfast every single morning in Italy.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And by the way, that carried out here into the States.
Yes, because like I don't eat breakfast. Like normally I have some coffee. I don't eat until like, you know, well into the afternoon.
Yeah.
And now I wake up, I'm hungry, and it's nice.
I
think
like
it's
it.
great.
I feel normal.
Yeah.
By the way, the energy that I have right now is because we've been sleeping well.
Yes, 100%.
And I have some other blessings that I want to talk about later, but we'll get into
100%,
that.
yeah,
We'll get
yeah.
into that.
So anyways, you know, we're not skipping that breakfast because that breakfast at that hotel was incredible. It was a buffet. It was so delicious. Anyways, what's the word? I digress. So we're sitting on breakfast, and to my left is this grandmother, and she's Asian, and and I point out to Georgie that he hasn't seen. Well, in my mind, just wait, hold on, it's important. It's important. Okay, so at this point in time, he makes it seem like he hasn't noticed this grandmother that's sitting to my left of me, right?
This cute little Asian woman.
Yes, and I just point out to him and I say, I find it so cute. Like I always see these Asian grandmothers that like to dye their hair purple. You know, like and now you're gonna start noticing it. You always see it. I don't know. It's like a thing. Like they enjoy dyeing their hair lavender, and honestly, it always really suits them. And so I see her, and she's so cute, and I was like, oh, so I always see. They always like to dye their hair purple. I wonder why. Georgie looks at me and he goes, oh, well, yeah, well, you know why, right? And I'm like, why? And he's like...
I'll try this for you.
Okay.
So this is like a really, really nice buffet area. You could order, but they have like these beautiful meals. So while I was pouring mine, I obviously I saw the cute little Asian girl that had like purple hair.
Asian girl, yeah.
Asian old lady.
Lady. Lady.
She was old.
Yeah. And it's like we're like in this like palace room.
Yeah. And she's telling me the story. Now, in my mind, I know I can't look up because she's sitting right here. So to really commit in this, because I already know where I'm going with this. As soon as she's like, have you ever noticed that these like older Asian women always like color their hair purple? And in my mind, I go, yeah, because and then immediately, what you got to do, one, if you're going to do this, you got to say it with your chest out, very confident. Two, you got to bring out resources and sources that they think is real and they have to look up, right? Okay, so I go, yeah, you ever watch the movie Crazy Rich Asians? And she goes, yeah. I go, why do you think that the richest one had purple hair? Is because it's royalty. They're not allowed to paint their hair purple unless they're like billionaires. Like I'm talking, and now I cut myself off. Well, so pretend this is the old Asian woman. I go, yeah, because they were like, and I was like, Belle. And she's like, no, I know. And I was like, there's no way. I've never met one before.
Bro, but at this time, he's telling me this, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about?
I was
I'm
like, Belle. And then so like, I'm immediately like really diving into this, bro. I'm committing.
But I'm doubting you. I'm doubting you.
Yeah, she's doubting me. I'm like, Belle, you gotta take a picture with me and her. You gotta take a picture with me. Like I can't believe it. Jessica's gonna freak out. Jessica loves, like Asian shows, like from Korean shows, the Japanese shows. She loves these shows. So I even use her as a reference. I'm like, oh my God, Jessica's gonna freak out. I can't believe I met one.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? I'm not gonna take a photo of you.
No, I was like,
I'm
Belle,
not gonna take a photo.
You got to. Come on, dude, you got to. So she goes, George, no. I'm like, Belle, like all seriousness, like don't freak out. But like I really need a picture with this person. So she's like, George, stop. And then so I double down again. I go, Belle, Google it, ask ChatGPT. Now, she gets on her phone to ask ChatGPT. Now, in my mind, I'm like, all right, ChatGPT is going to be like, well, are you stupid? No, right? But for some reason, I get this is the mystical thing or like or a comic book or something that has to do with an Asian person that has purple hair to be a billionaire.
No, ChatGPT says, yes, it's the dyeing your hair purple is a sign of royalty and luxury and blah, 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 blah.
So mind you, she's going like this. I'm already about to start laughing because I'm like, oh, I got caught. I'm reading what this says, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way. She turns back to me, and she goes, and I go, Belle, what did I tell you? Now let's get this picture.
and then how did we...
You were getting your phone ready to take the picture, and I was like, I'm just kidding. There's this like you were fully blown about to get your camera out, and I was about to get up, and I was like, I'm obviously not gonna go take a picture with this lady. This poor girl.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna like walk. We were gonna ask her, like he was gonna like walk in front of her, and I was gonna. Like,
I was literally gonna push it to the point where I was gonna have Belle bow at her, like just walk up and be like, hello.
Yeah. You said some of the things, but you're like, dude, it's a big deal. We should go.
Imagine. Why didn't I do that?
George, that'd be so embarrassing.
God,
they think I'm like
so funny. Imagine I got you to a place where I was like, remember, Belle, you cannot walk into their presence unless you bow because they're royalty. Like, imagine, bro. That would.
Oh my God, ChatGPT sold it. And what's so funny too is that if I would have just kept reading just a little bit further down, then ChatGPT like said the rest of it and then was like, but like no one actually. And then after it said no one actually does that and it's not a thing.
She didn't read that part.
Yeah, because I stopped at the first part. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, that's why.
That's so funny.
It was so funny.
I love doing that to you.
Yeah, you just start smirking. You're like, I'm just messing with you.
Because my dad does that to me.
He does that to everybody.
Like I would work with my dad at the liquor store, and he would say stuff like, "Oh, you're my favorite son," and I'm like, "I'm your only son," and he's like, "Oh, yeah." And I was like, the whole time he joked around so much that me and Jessica at some point got together. We're like, "Does he have a different family that he?"
Shut up.
I'm not joking. We were so young. He would do this so much. And I literally got so irritated with him. I was like, Dad, stop saying that. He goes, okay. My other son doesn't complain like that. Like, bro, he would just do that all the time. And I was really young.
So funny.
So I get that behavior. He would literally hide in a closet for like an hour just to pop out and scare me at the perfect time. One time, I'm not joking, I was really young at him, and I swung and punched him in the face because he jumped out and scared me. But I was young, so I didn't have a hard punch. And I hit him, and he's like, and he went, and he just like left. I was like, this guy is like. Now I understand where I get all the shenanigans from.
Georgie, this is what Georgie loves to do. He sets you up for something like whether it's gift giving or anything else. So he'll tell you one thing and you think it's something else and you're like, oh, cool, whatever. And then he's like, I'm just kidding. It's this. And then it ends up being something even bigger.
Yeah.
You get that from your dad?
Yeah, my dad would do that all the time.
Which is really cute.
My favorite part of the trip
Well, yeah. What
was and it's not like an actual activity, but it was a moment, and I really loved it. We're in Greece. This was in Greece, and we're at that restaurant, Beef Bar.
Yeah.
At I forgot which hotel it's called.
The Andronis Arcadia.
Yeah, bro, like, the guys, if you're ever gonna go to Greece and you're gonna go to Santorini, this hotel is like unbelievable. It's like a dream. It's beautiful. It's insanely beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're at dinner, and there's a moment where Belle's crying at the dinner table, which, by the way, it's not a great look when you're on a beautiful like restaurant overlooking the ocean. Everybody's having a great time, cheersing, and Belle's just sobbing. It looks like we just broke up on our,
Okay,
like,
no,
on our
we
honeymoon.
didn't. No, we didn't.
Just
You're
like-
smiling.
Yeah, because you're smiling like this.
You were smiling.
Yeah, well, then I just look like the psychopath that just broke up with you. You're crying, and I'm like,
Stop. No.
but the reason why is because it was I'm watching your relationship with Jesus grow. And there's moments where I know my mom got to watch it with me, or like somebody who watches somebody come into the faith that have the same type of questions that every like person. You're already choking up a little bit.
No.
I love you so much.
Good.
Dude.
I wrote this down too.
Thanks for pointing his paw at me for me to know about that. I really hope that was in the frame, dude. So we're sitting down, we're having a great dinner, and we're just going back and forth. We love talking about the gospel. But then she goes, I gotta admit, there's some moments in the Bible where it's like kind of hard to swallow that God would do something like that. And I was like, yeah, of course. I go, but what point are you talking about? And she goes, like, well, Abraham. So the story of Abraham, for those of you guys that don't know, God was testing a man's faith named Abraham. And back in the day, before Jesus Christ was crucified, and this is why they called him the Lamb, back in the day in the Old Testament, they would kill lambs for their sins. So the sins would be a way to be washed. God would ask them to sacrifice a lamb. It was a sacrificial type of obedience to God. Why they had to do that is because the blood washes away the sins. But this time, what?
Which is like a foreshadow.
Yeah, of course, everything in the Bible is a foreshadow of Christ. So the story that she had a hard time understanding, she goes, God loved this man named Abraham, but then asked him, take your son up to here and sacrifice him. Now, she's cool with it because she was like, well, God steps in and doesn't let him do that because there's a ram there. But I asked her, I go, what's so hard about that? She goes, I don't know, man. Like, asking somebody to take their son, George, their son, and kill them for your sins. And I go, yes. Isn't that kind of, it's hard to understand, right? It's hard to digest that. And I go, but isn't it gracious that God stopped him, had an angel grab his wrist and say, don't touch the boy. In fact, there's a ram stuck in a thicket bush. And around the ram's head is thorns. And Belle goes, oh, like Jesus. And I go, yes. And I go, but you just said how hard it was for you to ask a man to lay down his son's life. I go, but they technically deserved it. They did the sin. The sin, when you sin against God, it goes to death. Something has to pay it. God was merciful to let the ram be there. I go, but you have such pain in your heart when you're asking, how could God ask this man to lay his son down for sins? And that's when I said, but that's what Jesus did. God sent his only begotten son down, his only son, to lay his perfect life down for the iniquity that we have caused. Abraham deserved to lay down his son's life for the sins that they carried. But they stopped it, and God says, no, let my son, who had no sin, lay his life down. I remembered when I first came into this realization, there's a form of guilt where you're like, I can't even believe I doubted my God. I can't believe I even questioned him. And when I watched Belle sit there and register her thoughts and her heartfelt guilt, and this girl that I am in love with, beautiful girl, hands down the most beautiful woman in that restaurant, breaks down in tears, destroying her makeup, destroying everything, doesn't care about a single thing besides the guilt that she had in her heart for even questioning why God would ask Abraham to do that. And we as Christians forget what God did for us. And I'm watching her sit there crying. And I know it sounds messed up, but I'm looking at this woman have such a heart for God and such a conviction for God, crying in this beautiful place that we called Santorini. And I realized, nah, I don't need to be in Santorini to have the greatest day of my life. I just need to break bread with my wife and watch her just dive fully into the Lord. And it was my favorite moment. I hate watching you cry. But yeah, that was my favorite moment of the trip, is because like I was like, because I don't know, man, like traveling the world with somebody is cool, but traveling the world with you is like such a pleasure, man. Like watching you fall in love with God. Like I watched you like not even know anything besides God died for us. Like a baby Christian, right? Like God died for us, but I don't know, I really don't sin, you know? And then go from there and watch you blossom into this person where I know why you're crying in front of me is because the guilt of like, I can't believe I even questioned God or even said, how could he ask? And the reason I brought that story up is one, it's my favorite part of Greece, my favorite part. But the second one I brought that up is there's so many people.
Sorry, it was dripping.
No, it's cool. No, it's gross, but it's cool.
Know,
it's cool.
okay.
No, I'm just kidding. The reason I brought it up is because there's probably so many people that question God and they feel guilty about it, but I don't think they should. Because I don't think, and remember, I'm not a preacher. I'm just somebody who's walking in my faith. The times where I question God isn't bad. To question God isn't bad, but to leave God unanswered is bad. When we walk away being like, that's crazy. Why would he ever ask Abraham to do that? It was because God knows all. And he knew that he would have to stop him from doing it. But he also wanted us to reflect on that. Yeah, that's really hard to have you say, hey, I'm going to have my son pay the sins of the family.
Kill with your own hands.
With a knife. But let's put it this way. Even if Abraham committed that, that's a quick death. They beat and they mocked and they ridiculed. They sold his clothes. They put, here's the king of the Jews. And they put a crown of thorns on his head. The same way that Abraham found that ram in that bush. So it's not wrong for you to question God, but it's wrong to leave it unanswered because God has all the answers. And if you are confused on why your God did something, search for the answers. The Bible says, seek and you shall find. We will seek how to get money. We will seek how to get power. We will seek how to get fame. We will seek to get our enjoyment in life.
Yeah.
But then we get so uncomfortable when we ask the hard questions. But I promise you, our God's ready to answer those hard questions.
Amen. Yeah. And I think like, I think what was so like wonderful for me in that moment too was that, you know, that unanswered question did sit weirdly in my heart, but I think I had faith that I knew like, okay, I know how God has a reason for it. I don't know what it is, and I'm not quite sure, and it sat weirdly in my heart, but I know there's a reason, so I'll just put that to the side and I'll just move forward. And when you were able to kind of like fulfill that understanding for me, you just like, it gives you greater understanding as to like how big of a sacrifice it is of like what Jesus did for us and like what God did for us in that moment and how much that means, because it puts you in a place to really picture yourself. Like imagine taking your child and having to kill him right? So when it's weird that we have to like see it from, you know, different points of views, like different people. But when you really put it in that way, you're like, man, like it's a wild thing. And it's so humbling, you know, it's so humbling.
Do you remember when you were like, George sets things up, he sets something up, and then he has something better?
Yeah.
I may have got that from my father, but we all got that from our God in heaven. I mean, Abraham was set up. I remember when I read the Bible, his son goes, hey, where's the lamb? Where's the sacrifice? And his father says, don't worry, our God will provide it. But he knew that it was his son. Walking up, knowing that you're going to have to kill your son for a sacrifice and continue to do it because you love God and you know that God is good. And then he stops you last minute. Imagine what he felt like. Imagine the mercy he felt like where he gets to walk down the mountain with his son, looking at him laughing, kicking rocks, playing with sticks. But we will look at Jesus on the cross and then forget about him. We forget about him going down the mountain. We forget about him when we want to sin at the parties. We forget about him when we lust. We forget about him when we're going out and chasing our flesh so much. But if we just turn just for 1 second and look at the cross, and remember, man, he didn't need to do that. It will heavily change the way you behave. It's not because of your strength. It's about his strength. And speaking of his strength, this is a little uncomfortable for me to talk about, but I want to give him glory on this. I put my heart out there on the podcast a lot. I do. Sometimes it gets really uncomfortable, but I want it all out there. It's like my form of confessing because then I could be held responsible. I want to be held responsible. I want people to call me out if I'm not behaving in the way that I pretend that I'm behaving in front of God. I'd rather the world ridicule me than get to a place where my God had to punish me. Do you get what I'm saying? And marijuana has been a crazy obstacle in my life. And recently, I came to the conclusion of my heart breaks. There's a long suffering that comes with walking with God. And I felt like, to be honest, there was a lot of things I needed to fix first, and I just wasn't ready to put down the thing that can numb me. I wasn't ready to let go of it. I've tried so hard, like Belle knows more than anything, and the Lord knows more above all. I've tried. I'm really, really quick to go and fix myself. But I started reading the Bible, and I'm realizing that my works are the outcome of his glory, not because of mine. And so I'm sitting there and I'm smoking, and before I just felt a lot of shame and guilt while I smoke, and just so much shame and so much guilt. About a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I started saying, God, like, I'm a filthy man, like I'm a rag, like I'm not worthy, but I know one day you're gonna take me out of this, and I'll be able to praise you, and I'll be able to help others. But instead of me hating myself and feeling like a hypocrite, I just started praising him when I was getting high. And came to the realization that, there's a reason I'm smoking. And I just told him, I'm laying this at your feet. And maybe a lot of people would argue this with me. They're like, no, you have to be the one to put it down. But I couldn't. I put it down for a bit, and then life would get so suffocating that I had to take a moment to numb myself. Or in my brain at the time, I would become something I didn't want to be. And so I just started celebrating God. Well, I know it sounds uncomfortable for a lot of Christians, but when I was in that hole that I tried to claw out of, I just celebrated him, and I celebrated him. And I just said, look how good you are. You're greater than me. You're greater than my sins. You're greater than my weaknesses. I am not going to be the one to get myself out of this, because then I would rejoice myself. When this is bigger than me, man. Like, so I already know you're going to take me out of this, so I'm going to celebrate you now. And I just started celebrating him and celebrating him. And then we had Ali on. And I don't even remember talking about this, because I started editing out me talking about marijuana, because I didn't want kids to look up to me and think, oh, if George could do it, then I could do it. Yeah. And then now I'm bringing people into this hole with me, and I don't want that. So I literally didn't cut it out because I didn't even review it. I just remember that episode. I was like, oh, I got to go, so I can't review it. I watched that back after this miracle happened. But in the episode, I said, I feel, when I started praising him, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place because it's so fresh and new. So I apologize for the long walk. But I just remember when I was praising him I visioned these two fruits, right? The fruits that I was bearing, the seeds that I was sowing, the fruits that I was producing. And then there is obviously the fruits that he's producing. And in this vision, I'm trying to rip my fruits out, but I keep planting more. I'm ripping them out, but I'm planting more. I'm ripping them out, but I'm planting more. And I'm sobbing, and I can't get these bad fruits out of my garden. And God says, don't focus on the bad fruits, focus on my fruits. So I just sit there and I'm eating his fruits, and I'm paying no mind to my fruits. And I'm eating his fruits, and I'm paying no mind to my fruits. And eventually I look over, and my fruits look like they're decaying slowly, but surely they're decaying, and they're dying, and they're drying. And in that episode, I said, I feel like one day he's going to pluck it out of my heart. Like, I'm just not going to want to touch it. We're on our way to Greece. I'm going to be honest with people. The first thing I thought about is like, how am I going to bring this to Greece? And this is an illegal act, right? You can't do this. I'm very scared of breaking the law, so I don't do that type of behavior. But in my mind, I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? Should I bring edibles? Should I seek around in the island and see if there's anybody there? Because one time I went out there and there was people participating in it. Not me, but there was people out there participating in it. So I always knew that if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, man, I'm about to go on tour. And I just want to be so sharp for God. I don't want to be up there half of a man because I'm a shell, because I'm getting high until 4 o'clock in the morning every night, lying to myself about how I'm using it to fall asleep. And God told me, he goes, go. And when he says God told me, I want to make sure people know this. I don't hear an audible thing, but there's a version inside of a Christian man that has a spirit. And a lot of people think it's a gut feeling, but it's a feeling you sometimes get irritated with the feeling because it goes against what you really want. Mm-hmm. But this feeling was telling me, hey, why don't you just go and praise me there, but don't touch it. When you're there, don't look for it. I'm taking you on a vacation. Everything you're about to go see and do is a blessing from me. Go and celebrate me. I get there and I forget completely about marijuana. Yeah. I don't have any withdrawals. I don't have any sleeping problems. I don't have any food problems where I can't eat because my stomach is nauseous. I have nothing. Usually I would stop myself for 30 to 40 days just to show God I could go without it, right? But during those days, I'm in a lot of pain, grogginess. Anybody who smokes will understand this. It's just there's a withdrawal to it. It's frustration. And I turn to Belle and I go, Belle, like, I'm so excited. Like, I don't even look forward to it. I don't even want it. And immediately I go back to my flesh. I go, you know what? I'm not going to touch it until after tour. Mm-hmm. I go, and then after tour, I could smoke as much as I want, do as much as I want, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it after that or before that. And then I go into, we're on our way home. And I'm just sitting there thinking about it. And it was so much relief from my chest that I had this guilt feeling that I'm like, oh, if I do go back to it, I feel like what the Israelites were like, the dumb ones in the desert that were like, you just took me out of bondage and I'm already looking back to wanting to go back to slavery. Mm-hmm. And so I said, like, Lord, like, I don't know what to do. Like, you set me free, but I'm already yearning to go back to being a slave. So he tells me to go read the Bible. So I'm reading the Bible, and Belle's asleep. And while I'm reading the Bible, I just start weeping. I start weeping because I came to the conclusion that we do what we want. I can't pretend that I don't want marijuana because then I'm just lying. And I could fake it until I make it, but at the end of the day, I'm lying and I'm going to fall again. But there has to be a will of me to not want it. And I just never had that. Ever since I found this drug where it could numb me and I don't have to feel the pain in my heart, I just like, bro, I'm taking it. I would lie to myself. It helps me sleep. I would lie to myself. Oh, I don't need it. But I was depending on it. I needed it to turn my emotions off when I needed to turn it off. It took one thought that God planted in my heart. He goes, you could do it. You could do it. But every time you do it, I need you to know you turn your back against me. You turn your back against me when I was on the cross. Because you're saying what I did there, thank you for doing it, but let me continue to do what put you on that cross. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how you feel you want it, when you do it, this is the reason why I had to go on the cross. So when you do it, I want you to realize that when you're doing it, picture me on the cross, watch what they put me through, and then go back to turning your back against me. And it was that thought alone that not only was I sobbing because I was like, I felt bad, but I was sobbing that it's finally what I needed. I needed wisdom on why I shouldn't touch it.
Right.
And it's been over 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
No, longer. I think it's been like almost 3 weeks, but it's different than the last times. Last times I would stop, I would be counting the days that I could go back
Right.
like it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Even honestly, more than my birthday. I haven't wanted it or even entertained the thought of it. Just like I envisioned the fruits dying, there's nothing for me to grab there anymore. There's no want, there's no fruit there anymore. And so I don't know if anybody's dealing with an addiction when it comes to maybe even fast food or gossiping or being angry or lusting or even smoking or even, God forbid, even a darker, deeper drug. Instead of hating yourself while you're doing it, praise your God. I know it sounds uncomfortable, and maybe not a lot of people will preach this, especially at a church. Maybe they'll feel uncomfortable to preach this, but God is bigger than your problems. He's bigger than your heart. He knows you're in slavery, and he's not expecting you to figure it out all the time. We need a hero. And that hero said, I'm here. If you give me your burdens, I'm here for the ones that are tired and weak. And I remember I had to get to that point where I had to stop lying to myself. And also, guys, you have to confess. You have to confess. Don't lie to yourself. You know when you're lying to yourself. I knew when I was lying to myself. I knew it. It's hard and it's uncomfortable to do it. And sometimes you feel like you're even worse of a person if you admit it with your mouth, because you're like, okay, now I'm admitting it, I'm still doing it. But it's not the case. You have to admit it because you can't have a doctor heal you without you pointing out the problem. I can't go to the doctor and hide the problems that I want healed because I'm embarrassed to admit them. I was addicted to numbing my heart because I was put through things where it broke my heart, and I said, hey, this is what's going to heal me. And it all started from a preacher saying to me, wherever you run during your crisis is where your Christ is. Mm-hmm. And bro, when he said that to me, I said, how many days have I been counting the times until nighttime? Because I told myself, hey, I won't touch it during work. I won't touch it during,
yeah.
But man, sometimes I'd feel like I would just numb myself until I get to that time.
And then you're robbing, in a way, you're really robbing yourself of your day because
Your life,
you're
yeah.
doing anything that you, just to get through the day, just to get to that moment. And then when you get to that moment, I mean, it's not even a moment because you're just like numb and you're not really fully, like enjoying what you have around you kind of thing, And I think that like, it just like it points out even more that God says like, come as you are and he'll meet you where you're at. And so you're telling people to like God will meet you in your circumstance, even though it's embarrassing and it feels shameful and you're like dirty. That's where he's supposed to meet us. And it's all about fixating our eyes on him. The same way you were saying about your fruits, you know, instead of looking at your bad fruits, you're looking at his fruits, and like focusing only on him just abolishes all the other stuff.
It's so funny how like God will speak through me sometimes to other people, and then I'll be like, well, why don't I take that advice? Like, and I remember sitting down with Andrew Tate, and there was this very viral clip that I said, where I said there's two wolves that are tied up. There's one that's tied up in the darkness, and there's one tied up in the light.
Yeah.
And I asked him, which one lives? And he says, the one in the light. And I said, it's whichever one you feed.
Yeah.
And I realized that's such good advice, but I never took it. When I was dealing with marijuana, I just dealt with my guilt. I dealt with my shame. I dealt with my burdens. I tried to stop it. I failed. I hated myself. And then I repeated it. And then God forbid, if I do this enough, one day I'm going to say, it's fine. And that's when somebody loses. Yeah. When somebody forgets and they harden their heart like Pharaoh and they say, I could get high, bro. It's not that big of a deal. But I was looking at my problems. And Jesus says, dude, just look at me. Look at me and follow me. I never told you to follow yourself. I told you to follow me. And through that, it started with me just praising God. And I know that sounds so crazy to understand. And to be honest, guys, I'm not a preacher and I'm not a teacher. I could be preaching the wrong message, and I pray I'm not. But there was something holy about me being in shambles and just singing out to God that he's going to free me. And I'm not going to have to worry about this. This is bigger than me. And so, like, if you're dealing with something, and it could be a generational curse, it could be something that you watched your father do and your grandfather do, and in your mind, you hardened your heart and said, God will know, he'll understand. But the sad truth is, that's what Adam and Eve fell to. Surely you're not going to die. Surely it's okay for you to get high. Surely it's okay for you to lust, even though that you're married. You could watch porn. You're not sleeping with other women. There's things that we look around and we'd rather look at the world and say, well, look at them, bro. Like, I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
Or you could set the standard high and look at Christ and say, no, like, he told me to be like him, not like them. And so, like, I brought that all up just in case, God forbid, there's somebody out there that needed to hear it. But also, you know, I made a lot of mistakes on this podcast. I think the Eucharist is obviously one of them. There's a lot of Catholics that truly hate me, look over it. There's other drama that I've gotten myself into, and it's frustrating to my soul, but I really do appreciate all those nice comments. The feedback where people give me and they leave a good comment. I know I shouldn't consume myself with positive stuff like that or negative stuff like that, but I can't tell you how many times I really hated myself in my own room. And I would read somebody confessing something that I've helped them with, or just because of me being vulnerable, I've set them apart. And like, it refreshes me, man. It makes me feel like, okay, like that one person got something out of this, then I can hang myself again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to do it. And I don't know who needs to also hear this, but I just want you guys to know that, like, I don't just forget when I make mistakes. I know how I talked about the Eucharist. Like, I grew up in a church where I visualized the Eucharist that way. And when I grew apart from it, my ego wanted to strike it. Instead of uniting churches together and talking about Christ, I wielded a division. And there's a lot of people that forgave me, and there's a lot of people that are angry with me, and they'll probably be angry with me for the rest of their life through dumb mistakes that I make as I'm trying to move in this path. But I don't know who needs to hear this, but I don't forget. I don't forget when I hurt somebody. It fuels me to make sure I don't do it again. And I'm really sorry that even though I don't see it the way that a lot of my brothers and sisters do see it, I never in my life, ever in my life meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to hurt them. And I know I've already made the apology, and I know there's a lot of people that already forgive me, but there's people out there that it really hurts their soul, and I don't want them to ever think that I don't care and I just move on, especially when it comes to worship. I let you guys down big time with that one. And like, if I have to spend the rest of my life to make sure that I word things properly and I don't offend somebody's worship and don't divide the church, I will try until my last breath. Unfortunately, I know myself. I'm gonna fail a lot more times because I'm a type of man that like, I try to leap for it, and sometimes I leap in the wrong direction. Kind of like what Jordan Peterson was saying. He says you're really good at going from one place to another place, but you got to feel yourself. Yeah. And it's so embarrassing, like having to learn in front of people, but there's a beauty of like being held responsible. You know, confessing to somebody is cool and it's growth. But when you confess to the world, like, and people stop me on the side of the street and they're like, yo, what's going on with this? How you doing with this? Like, I'm doing this too. It's like,
you can't like put it to the side and keep ignoring it. Like once you've announced it, you're like, okay, like I've announced it, so I got to keep myself responsible for it. It's a little bit of like a cheat sheet in a way, you know? But I think that's it. There's a beauty in growing in front of people. And I think that maybe it's also part of why you go through certain obstacles, because it's nice for other people to see examples, being like, oh, like I'm dealing with this too, and this is how he dealt with it, or maybe this is how it looked like for him, and like I'm not crazy, I'm not so horrible for also going through it, and maybe this is how I can like tackle this problem, you know? Yeah. And so I think like it's a wonderful thing, like this, it's like a community of people that get to like share, and we get to like help each other grow a little bit, you know?
I grew up and my dad used to always tell me, be a sponge. If you be a sponge, you go inside of the room, you absorb what they have. You don't have to go through what they did. Yeah. Like you could learn from their mistakes. You don't have to make the same mistake. Yeah. And I think I took that to the podcast to be like, okay, like if I could show people my mistakes and lead them away from touching the fire, like if I touched the fire and I burned myself, if I could capture that and share it to my neighbors, then they won't have to do that. And I think, to be honest, bro, I've been chasing like entertainment. Like we're about to go on tour. I've been doing all this. And when I first moved out to LA, which I'm so glad I got to say this, the first time ever I was on Impulsive, I was a guest on it. I wasn't a co-host. I said, I always prayed in the beginning of my career, I said, if it takes me 1 inch away from you, God, I don't want it. Like, I'd rather die before I lose my soul to you. I love entertaining. I think you gave me these gifts, but never would I ever want to trade this world for what I have in my relationship with you. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying that in the podcast, and I randomly just watched it the other day, and I said, this is how my life in the industry has always been. I'm only allowed to be blessed and move forward when God knows I could behave and handle what I'm about to handle. But I don't know what's in the future. I don't know. I mean, I do. We're going on tour. That's pretty cool. But I just have this great peace, man. Like, he always rescues me. He always comes in when I need him. I don't feel alone. And, like, there's so many people out there, man, that live this life alone. And you don't have to. You don't have to do that. There is a very real God that wants to commune with you. And there's a very real church that wants to welcome you. And you do not have to deal with these things alone. It's virtually impossible. Yeah.
And I think, like, I saw this question actually in the comments, and somebody said, well, what does it look like to, you know, because we talk about, like, if you just set your eyes on him, like, just set your eyes on him and nothing else, and then, like, watch, like, things be fixed in your life, you know, like, truly. And, like, I've been doing this last 2 months, man, I can't tell you how many things I've just, like, melted off of me. I have no desires for things. I have no, like, things I used to struggle with, I don't have to struggle with anymore. It's like, well, it's life-changing, you know? And they're like, but what does that look like, fixating your eyes on him? Is it just, like, picturing yourself, like she wrote something like, is it picturing yourself just sitting next to him all the time, or how does that look like? And so I want to kind of hear like what you would say, what does it look like to just fixate your eyes on him? Like, I think for me, it's been involving him a little bit in everything, not a little bit, a lot of it, involving him in everything that I do, whether it's work or relationship or problem or situation or anything that I'm doing with it, I'm thinking about him in my situation as well. And whenever I have anything, I go back and I lean to him. If I have anything, I go back, I lean to him. And I search for his word and his wisdom. And I fall a little bit more and more and more in love with him. And so for you, what does that look like for you to just like only fix your eyes on him?
Knowing the separation between me and him. Like when you didn't understand Abraham, the situation of Abraham, you questioned God. And when you do that, when you question God, you have the opportunity of Satan to come in and fill that void. Mm-hmm. So he could say either, why would your God let Abraham do that? Or why wouldn't your God let you eat from this tree? And I think fixing your focusing on him is saying, regardless of where I'm at in my life, how I feel in my life, and what I'm doing in my life, I am not greater than God. So if I don't understand something, that doesn't mean that, oh, God messed up here, or maybe the Bible isn't fully right. No, it's if I'm having doubts, that means that I have way more voice of myself and Satan or demons or the world in my mind and on my tongue than I do of the holy word of God. And I need to change that. So if it has to do with lust, okay, well, what did the world tell me about lust? The world told me, hey, get out of your system before you get married. No. What did Jesus say about lust? Oh, flee from it. Mm-hmm. So I grew up, okay, this is how men behave. This is how they do it. But how does Jesus feel? So having your eyes on him isn't just your eyes. It's your heart. It's your mouth. It's your ears. He says, whoever has ears, and wait for it, wants to hear. Mm-hmm. Whoever has eyes, and wait for it, and want to see it. You could have eyes and ears and be deaf and blind to God completely. Yeah. Because you're so focused on yourself. Yeah. Some people go, well, if I don't want to crucify. I don't want to get crucified. Dude, that's tough. But bro, even people that, God forbid, don't even believe in God and they go through something tough that feels like a crucifixion, they always say, I'm glad I went through that because I became like this. Mm-hmm. So just like the seasons in the world, winter comes to kill off everything, but something grows right after that could even be way more beautiful. It's kind of like that meme where or not meme, it's a picture, it's a beautiful picture, and it's Jesus kneeling down to a little girl, and behind his back he has this beautiful brand new bear. And this little girl's holding on to her broken bear, it's torn up. And she goes, but Jesus, I love this. And I've gotten to a place and positioning in my heart that before I question my God, I'll question my wife. Before I question my God, I will question my mother. Before I question my God, I will question my government. I will never question my God. I am unworthy to even consume the knowledge that he has. So if I have a disagreement with God, I'm in the wrong, not him. So I think leaning on him is understanding who you are and knowing that you need him. Yeah. And I think as Christians, sometimes we feel like it's him and me. And I think that's when the devil could play and have a great time with it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like humbling yourself and knowing like it's all you, and like praying to have like a strong enough faith to just move forward and truly just put it in your hands. And I know that like a lot of Christians say this a lot, you know, like just put it in his hands, put it in his hands. And it's like, okay, well, it's easy to say, but like, how do you actually do it, you know? Yeah. And I think it's truly just like having the faith to know like he will take care of it. Literally just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward and like be grateful and be positive and be grateful for what you have around you and just keep walking and moving. And before you know it, when you stop for a second, you'll realize like, oh, hold on. I don't even want that anymore. Like, I don't even want to do that. That's not even crossed my mind. It's actually not even something that I'm like struggling to stop myself from doing in this moment. Yeah. And it's just like, just keep me moving forward. Don't think twice. Like, don't overthink it. Just keep going.
There's a beautiful thing that Jesus says in the Bible. He's talking to them about asking for faith. because we need faith in everything.
Yeah.
That is, my mom used to say, that is the gasoline to the spiritual car. You need faith. If you have no faith, your car's empty, you ain't moving. Now, how do you get faith? And how much does God want to give you faith? There's a version of that in the Bible that I would like to explain. Jesus is sitting around his disciples and he's talking to them. And he says, if your neighbor came to you in the middle of the night and he's banging on your door and he says, hey man, I have some guests coming from a long, far away and I got nothing for them. I got no bread. Please, I beg you, give me bread so I could have something for them to eat. The neighbor will say, please, I'm asleep. My children are asleep. Leave me. Leave me. And he'll bang again. Please, please, I beg you. I have guests coming. I really need this. I beg you. And he says, okay. So he opens up the door. He gives him what he needs. And then Jesus says, and you're evil. Pause. I will do that good deed, but I'm evil. He says, and you give a good gift. How much more will your heavenly Father give? So when you ask for faith, don't assume he's going to be the man in bed with his kids in bed and he's not going to answer the door. He will flood you with things that you need, especially if you ask for things that are good for you.
Yeah.
If you're like, God, I need faith, man. Like, my marriage is rocky right now, and every time I look at it, I want to end it. But you're saying that this is a good covenant, and I need to be with my wife. This is one. How do I do this? I can't see it. That means your spiritual is gone because you have no faith. Every time God did a miracle, every time Jesus was walking around, from the blind man to the Samaritan woman, to the woman who was bleeding, and she says, if I just touch his cloth. When he kneels down, he turns around, he goes, great power has left me. Who touched me? He knew who touched him. He wanted her to confess it with her mouth.
Yeah.
And she goes, it was me. And he kneels down to her, he looks her in the eyes, and he says something that I'll never forget. He said, it was your faith that healed you. He never kneeled down and said, it was your work ethic. You found me. You reached out to me. You grabbed me. It wasn't your love. It wasn't the fact that you weren't in fear. It wasn't the fact that I was there. That's even crazier. It wasn't even because he was there. There's so many people that have the presence of God right in front of them, but they just don't have the faith.
Yeah.
It was the faith that healed her. It was the faith that healed me. Like, I was already out. I was actually listening to one of the things that you sent me. It was like
The devotionals?
The devotionals, yeah. And one of the things the woman says, she goes, I thank you, God, for being greater than my heart. And bro, that hit me so hard because my faith relied on, like, well, God's obviously sick and tired of me at this point. I keep making this thing. So my faith came to the place of him being sick and tired of me.
Right.
Like, he can't work with me anymore. I've been hitting this problem too many times. But when she says that he knew you, he designed you, he knew that this is going to be the problem and the wall that you hit. But how good is our God that all we need is faith? Because here's the best part, man. And this is all he wants. We were designed to give him praise. And what better place to praise him when we mean it, bro?
Yeah.
When I walk around and people are asking me, hey, how did you get out of smoking marijuana? I go, I praised my God. I praised. And that kid's like, is this guy on crack? Like, what do you mean you praised God? You just stop wanting it? Yes. But how? Because I praised God. And through praising God, I got faith because I started believing what I was praising. And through faith, I had the ability to move. You know what's so funny? I've been getting a little insecure about talking about faith online lately. I was like, man, I'm making this way too much because I do comedy. Like, I'll go on stages and I'll make people laugh. And like, you just watch me do stand-up. And sometimes when I'm doing stand-up, it has nothing to do with faith at all. I'm just telling funny stories. Yeah. And I'm doing all these things because I love making people laugh and bringing them joy. And so I came to this place in my head lately where I'm like, am I talking about God too much? Am I getting to a place where, like, I got scared that if I talk about God too much, then I'm just going to be hanging out with the saved. And that is my biggest fear. I don't want to hang out with the saved. It's never what I was designed to do. I like to hang out with the misfits. I love to hang out with the sinners. I love to hang out with the people that swear, that have bad language. Because believe it or not, I hang out with these people and they have more heart than the ones that are saved sometimes. Sometimes when people think that they're so holy, they have no mistakes, they're just fake and they're just an echo chamber of nothing. But when I'm hanging out with these people and I make them laugh and I show them who Jesus is and I watch them get curious about God, it just fills my heart. So I had this fear that if I continue this path of only talking about God or only praising God in my podcast, then the people that need to hear the message are not even going to come because they're not looking for that right now. Yeah. And God has always taught me, he goes, go make them laugh. And then when they say, how are you so happy? You say, because of Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I'm in this place in my life right now, man, where I don't know. Before old George, everything mapped out every year, every month, every week, every day. But I have this faith that, man, like he'll handle it. And it's so much more peaceful acting this way. Like it's so much more peaceful.
I mean, I think it's interesting that, of course you're going to have this thought of like, am I talking about God too much? Maybe I should stop talking about him. And it's like, well, who do you think that's coming from? Like why would you have that thought of wanting to stop talking about him? You know what I mean? And I think that I think you come to a place where it's kind of hard not to talk about it because it's so prevalent in our lives, and he's literally the reason for everything. Like, and I think that I understand what you're saying because, yeah, if people who maybe don't quite have the relationship with God yet, they're not going to understand. They're not in the place to understand, and so they're like, man, I don't listen to this. Like, I don't get it. No thanks. And you wanted to reach those people, which that's totally is the goal. But I think that it's kind of impossible because he's the answer to everything, and that's the point. I think we're coming to. I'm just getting to
such a level right now where it's like, all I can think about is like my relationship with him. I got to give you a compliment real quick. And I told you this recently, but I want people to know about this just because if there's a relationship right now that a guy's like sowing seeds in his wife's heart or his girlfriend's heart or his partner's heart, Belle before wouldn't talk to me about God because she's new at it. So if I did something with shenanigans, she would like, yeah, that makes sense. Like if I acted up, if I had road rage, if this guy talked a little bit too much and I wanted to check him, like there's these moments where I act like a man of God, and then there's blimps throughout the day where I'm like, hey, yo, if this guy says one more thing, I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna fold him up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and Belle would sit there and just be like, yeah, let's just calm down. Like, no, blah, 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 this and that. But there's these moments now where I'll act up in a bad way, and Belle would literally remind me of the gospel and how I should behave. And it's so funny because I'm like, oh, I got to behave all the time now.
When
like,
you were in the shower,
all the time now I have to behave. And it's so cool watching it because like I didn't tell you about God because I wanted something out of it. I wanted you to have something beautiful out of it. Yeah. So in my brain at the time, I'm like, this is for you, and you're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, you're welcome. You're very welcome that I'm giving you the best gift in the world. But then I never knew what I would reap from that was when I fell weak into my own flesh, my own pride, and my own ego, and my own desires, you call me out and check me on it and make sure that I stand up and behave. And to me, bro, that is like the best turnout of events. You know what it felt like? Like I planted seeds, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, she'll eat that. That will be for her. And then you brought me this big, look at all this. And I was like, oh my God, I'll leave the Doma, but everything else is great. Everything else is great. And it's a blessing to watch you come and like check me a little bit. And by the way, I will say this, you do it in a meek way. You're doing it in a loving way. And that to me, it resonates way more. There's times where you like ego check me and I can't hear it. Yeah. Because my ego won't hear it. I was like, no. I remember, I'll be honest, I'll hang myself to dry. We were in an argument in Italy, and it was because we were just like underneath the sun. We were jet lagged. It was like our first day, and we were bickering back and forth. and then we just like got into it, which is very rare, by the way. And I won't mainstay this. Like,
Yeah.
Bella and I are very much on the same point, but just as humans, if we get into it, Bella and I are very good with our words. So if we get into it, we're like sword fighting with our tongues, and it's hilarious. But I remember she was like, okay, we should just calm down and pray about it. And I got pissed, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, don't tell me to pray about it, because in my ego, stupid little mind at the time, I was like, oh, what? I'm gonna teach you about God, and you're gonna throw that in my face to go pray about it? Like, I need to go out and pray about it? And like, dog, I had such an ego, and I literally felt like God was like, oh.
You're going to teach her about God? What do you mean? Just because of him.
Oh. And bro, the rest of the day, it got so much worse. It got so much worse. It got so much worse.
I can't believe you're bringing this up.
Yeah, because no, I need to embarrass myself. You can't behave like this. And so like, I literally we got to a place where it was like mad bad. Like for us, it was mad bad. And I just go, we're sitting in the room quiet. And I was like, I'm sorry. I think we should have prayed. And she started laughing like that. She looked at me like, dude, you should have said this an hour and a half ago. And we prayed, and I'm not even joking. It was like all of the wisdom flew into my mind. I started realizing what my behavior looked like. I started realizing how I was treating you. I realized that, like, all right, dude, you need a nap and get some food in your belly because you're acting like an idiot. And within a moment's notice, I was just on a perfect sailing, beautiful, like, position. And my arrogance almost interfered with that because I was like, don't tell me. It was kind of like I was telling you about this thing all the time, and I'm watching you thrive in it, and you're in such a beautiful place in it. And when you told me, it wasn't my spirit of God. My spirit of God was probably celebrating it.
Yeah.
But it was my own, like, you're not going to tell me what to do type of thing.
It was your flesh, yeah.
And I don't know, man. If any guy deals with that, because you could also vouch for me. I don't do that often. I'm very, very good at taking advice. But people that behave that way are robbing themselves, bro. Robbing themselves. They're robbing themselves.
There's so many different areas of where that comes in, like whether it's that or it could be other things, like people get, egotistical or prideful when it comes to like knowledge battles, you know what I mean? And then they shut off their ears to other people's knowledge because they're like, you're going to tell me about this thing because I know about this thing.
Mine wasn't because of that. Mine was like, if I had to really reflect on it, I was ashamed. I was ashamed that I've been preaching to you this whole time and you're just coasting on it beautifully. And I was like, dang, bro, like I've been preaching this to her for years and we're in the middle, in the thick of it, but she's the one that behaved better than I did. And so like, that's why I lashed out, because it was more of like embarrassing. Like I felt like we were in front of like our God and I was just like looking like an idiot. And I know that's how I felt because I made a joke that day. And I was like, I should check that. I should pray about that. Because I made a joke where the gospel is talking about doing a race. And I made a joke about how I'm racing and you're all the way back there. And I taught you how to stretch and run. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, she's doing pretty good. And then I look back and she's catching up. And then I look and then all of a sudden I just watch you pass by me. And I made a joke about that, but that's something I should celebrate. It's not something I should be ashamed about. Yeah. But dude, sometimes you get a little uncomfortable when you show somebody how to, like, it could be anything. It could, like even ice skating.
That's what I was mean. Yeah.
You could show somebody how to ice skate and all of a sudden you're just gliding past me and I'm like,
but I think
I've been working on this for 30 years of my life.
But I think this is really like, I mean, it's really humble of you to be able to like bring this up and talk about it. And I think, it's something I'd kind of written down, but I was like, I don't know if we'll touch on it because
you look at me and you're like,
no, but truly, I think that what's so beautiful about it, people hear like, oh man, you guys were on vacation, you guys got into an argument, like that sucks. But I truly think like it was really meant to be. That was one of the gifts of our vacation because our vacation was so beautiful. We just had that one little.
He emptied out our closet.
Day. Yeah,
he emptied out our closet. He's like,
and it was.
Why are you guys here in this beautiful area? Why don't you talk about the things you're tiptoeing around?
Yeah, and it was meant to be truly because that day like brought us to a deeper understanding of each other. And I think that after we prayed, then you were able to understand better why you reacted a certain way, and you were able to understand why I was reacting a certain way, or why I needed to hear things a certain way, because so we grew a deeper which is crazy because we think we know each other so well, we know everything about each other, but then we were able to understand each other so much better in that moment that then now we have a better resolution, even deeper resolution when it comes to us dealing with like conflict with each other, which was such a gift on that vacation. And it felt like it was right before, it was at the end of Italy, it was right before we were going to Greece, and felt like we were able to be like washed and new and enjoy like a whole new vacation again.
Oh, it was insane. It was insane. And also, I don't know, like it sounds unhealthy for me to say this, but a fight could really make you feel better afterwards. Like just to let it all out, like get it off your chest, like talk about it.
Everybody harbors things in, sometimes, and like, right?
Nice. We were on a boat when we fought. Nice. There's a pun, you didn't even know it. Do you know what I realized? That we don't know everything about each other? I was, when we first interviewed Patrick Bet-David, and he was sitting there talking, I'll never forget this. He's sitting there talking about, he's like, okay, like, how much do you know about her? Do you know everything about her? And I said, yeah, everything about her.
Yeah.
And he just casually goes, all right, that's God complex. And then he started just going on and on about these other things. And I was just like, no, you can just tell me I have a God complex and just move on. Yeah. And I guess because me and you know each other so well that I do feel like I know everything about you. Mm-hmm. And I stopped thinking about that way when he said, okay, because you think you're God, like there's a God complex. And I was like, oh, I guess I have to give my mind room to want to learn more, one, and also give grace to know that I don't know everything.
Yes, that's actually so good. Yes, that's so good because...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because one of the things is understanding why, okay, like I react to certain things a certain way, but why do I react to things a certain way? And in that day, it was even something that I didn't even know about myself. I realized in that moment, I was like, oh, I react this way because of this thing that I've been used to my whole life, but you didn't really truly understand it or know that about me.
How can I know if you didn't know?
Because it's my child, like, it's from your childhood or whatever. So, right, you have to leave room for each other, no matter how long you've been together, no matter how close you think you are, to be able to like want to know more about that person constantly, being curious to understand their heart a little bit better.
We should talk about going on vacation. You brought up something about couples going out and spending time together. Go ahead.
Okay. I just thought that, there's so much value in us being on a beautiful vacation as husband and wife. And I want to start this by saying it doesn't mean that you have to go to Greece or Italy or do a lavish vacation in order to have this. I think it's just about getting away together, whether that's down the street from you or in the city next, just in the city next door to you, but just finding time to be with one another where it's not about work, it's not about anybody else or anything else, but just the two of you. And you're able to be in this moment and enjoy together. And because then it's like where your true friendship comes out and your true like love for one another comes out. And it was just, there's so many things that we got out of that. We were able to really like focus on each other and just enjoy each other, enjoy the moment with one another. And I think like we really needed that because I think we're so blessed that obviously, the work that you do and what I get to do with you, like we love it. It's something that we're passionate about. And so it's fun. But
I didn't know that was the first vacation I've ever had since I was like an adult.
Right.
Because we travel so much for work that it's a very big difference from like traveling for work versus like having a time where you're just sitting with your wife, having dinner, praying, meditating, having fun. Having fun is such an important part of life.
Yeah.
And I think,
and obviously we do that all the time. We have fun all the time, like if we have a day off or a weekend off, whatever, we go have fun. Yeah. But to have
I also think that has to do with why we're so joyful because we make time for that.
Right. Like that's like our priority is to enjoy ourselves with each other. But to have like 8 days, like to really just like enjoy ourselves, to put that time aside was so wonderful. And I think it just like really reset us in so many ways.
I want to say something right now because I feel like, because going off of this, when you were like, oh, you don't have to go to Italy, you could just go next door. I want to talk about financial like decisions. Mm-hmm. When Belle and I first started dating, I knew that I was going to marry her. Like I just knew. I changed my behavior, man. I started planning for our future. And Belle is a beautiful girl, and she's a model and an actress in LA. I'm 25. She's 20 at the time. The first thing you want to do is spoil that person. Why? Because you're around the surroundings of like, oh, that dude is her friend. Like, for example, her friends have guys buying her purses and shoes and taking them on trips. But in my mind, I'm like, I remembered my dad told me at a young age, just because you could buy it doesn't mean you should buy it. Mm-hmm. Just because you can doesn't mean you could afford it. And I remember sitting you down and I said, hey, like, I pray that one day I could take you across the world and not even miss it in my banking account. I could say, hey, take this card, go shopping, fill your closet up with whatever you want. But unfortunately, that's not what I could do right now. Now, mind you, what I was making at the time, and I'm not trying to say this in a way to like boost myself, but was incredible money for a man my age, incredible money. But I wanted to plan for my future. I wanted to build a foundation. I wanted to learn off of these fundamentals. When you make money, you give to God, you donate to others, you save, and then you spend for fun. But by the time we get to here, all these needs to be checked off. So what we did is we always made sure we had dinners. I knew that, hey, I could always take my wife to dinner right now. I'm at a place right now, I might not be able to put diamonds around her neck and buy her every pair of shoes that her heart desires, but I could take her to dinner. And I celebrated that. I didn't look at what I couldn't get my wife. I looked at what I could already provide my wife. So I said, hey, Belle, the best news is I might not be able to do this, but I could take you to dinners. And we went to dinners all the time.
For me, that was
yeah, I know. And by the way, Bella's just such a gem, dude. Like, if you give her a freaking cup, she'll be like, oh, for me? Like she's always just she's so grateful, and it makes it so nice. But if a man is working right now, you know in your heart when you're spending that dollar and you shouldn't be spending it. And if you feel like your wife would leave you because you're not going to spend it, I'm sorry, not your wife, but your girl's going to leave you because you're not going to spend it, she's not the one for you. Because she should be able to be next to you, being grateful for everything that you could provide her. And that way, when you build something up and you build something up and you build something up, that way you guys could do it together at the highest level that you want. But look forward to it in the future. That's fine. You could dream for it. But don't spread yourself thin now, because how I thought about it was this. All these men are spoiling their girls, but I know what they're making, and I know they're spreading themselves thin. So when time comes, if an emergency happens or COVID happens, you're going to pack up and go home, and you're bringing your woman with you. But if you hold to your ego and say, hey, I can't do that right now. I'm going to lay these bricks down so that way when the world hits and it's hard, I'm going to look and I'm going to know God gave me wisdom to build my home out of stone and not straws. So that way I have a good foundation. And when you have a good foundation, you have peace in your heart. Hey, if God forbid something happens to Belle's mom, I'll write a check right now. If something happens to Belle, I'll handle it with cash right now. If there's something that needs to be done, okay, I'll handle it. And times have come. Wins have came. Obstacles have came. Because I held myself out and I said, hey, listen, I remember it was like our first year of dating. I sat you down and I said, hey, like, I would love to, but I can't. And now when we went to Italy and we went to Greece and we weren't doing it with debt, because debt is slavery. Never extend yourself only time you ever need debt is if God forbid you need it. If you need to have debt, then you take it. But don't use debt to go to traveling, to go to Greece or to go to Rome or to go to any of that
buy
stuff.
Shoes and
don't do that. Build it. If you can't afford it, don't do it yet. But that doesn't mean you can't have fun. You could do so many other things if you use your mind. But out of 11 years of working, 11 years of working by myself in LA, putting my money aside, investing in the right things, making a good decision, man, the joy that I had when we were sitting in the best place, eating the best meals, having the best drinks, and in my heart knowing no guilt.
Yeah.
We earned this. This is ours. We saved this. We did what we did with our money, and we know that God looks at it and is pleased with it. And here's another thing. I learned these from my mentors. All these guys are a lot more successful than me. Get God involved with your finance. because this is what made me make that decision. My ego wanted to spoil this beautiful girl because a part of me was like, man, if I don't do it, she's going to look at her friends being spoiled. And then she's going to be in her heart be like, what, does he not love me? These are all evil thoughts in my heart.
Yeah.
Belle would never feel this way. But in my mind, I'm like, bro, like another guy's going to come around and like super off my feet or like being able to do this. But I can't tell you what it brought me and what kind of joy it brought me being like, man, we've been 6 years strong. And this is our first vacation. And I pray that we could do this every year or every 6 months or wherever we want to do it now. But there's a great feeling in one, going the longer distance with it instead of the shortcuts. And then two, it's good to test your partner. Like, I'm glad that I got to see Belle, like the best way I could put it, not be spoiled and still love me as much as she did. And
100%.
yeah, I think.
And I think too that, you know, like girls, like when you're with a man, if you have the pleasure of being with a man who is going to grind to build you up a beautiful future, who's going to like work as hard as he can and sacrifice things for himself, sacrifice leisures and joys for himself in order to build a kingdom for you and your future family, then realize that he's grinding for you and support that and be like, okay, like I don't need to be spoiled. I don't need to ask for this, and that. Like I shouldn't be expecting him to buy me all these things. Like support the fact that like you're blessed enough to find a man that's going to grind for you, that you're not the one. Like maybe you're grinding as well. Maybe you're doing it together. You know what I mean? Maybe you're both working as hard as possible, but like realize that he's doing it for you. And so support him in that decision and don't make it difficult for him or don't put guilt on him just because you want like nice things. You know what I mean?
God, dude,
if you
you've
want
never done that to me, bro.
Yeah. If you want to go buy yourself some nice things, then maybe you have to go pick up, you know, a little extra work so that if you really want those things, if you really think that you need those things, but don't put that on your man when he's grinding for you in order to have a beautiful future, you know?
Also, I really love that. My favorite thing, there's a lot of favorite things about you that I love, but what I love about you, like one of the greatest things that I love about you is me and you look at material things and we're like, yeah, sure, we'll enjoy it, but we don't need it.
Yeah.
We do not need it. My dad yelled at me the other day. He goes, man, why don't you get a watch, bro? Put a nice watch on your wrist. Let them know. I go, let who and what know? And he goes, let them know you do well when you walk in a room. I go, Dad, I walked into Italy and people knew who I was and they couldn't even speak the language that I was. I go, isn't that a bigger of a blessing? He goes, yeah, but you know, you want a good piece on your arm. I go, I don't need it. Like, I don't need jewelry. And he goes, why don't you want jewelry? Because he collects watches. He goes, why don't you want jewelry? And I said, because the guy that I looked up to didn't need it. And he just looked at me and goes, okay. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We got to get going because my man needs to catch an airport. I think you need to catch her like right now. Yeah. Do you think you're going to miss it?
I mean, I have to break all this down, right?
Yeah.
No.
No.
The airport's like 25 minutes away, 30 minutes away. So
It's 30 minutes. Did you look up the... We got to wrap. Guys, thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching.
thank you so much.
And God willing, you know, we could do many more solo episodes. Please leave a comment. If you guys really enjoy these, we'll throw these out more. Like we chose not to do as many solo episodes, me and her, because we want to make sure that you guys are enjoying the content that we're producing. You know, we have like people on and we like to interview them. But if you guys really do enjoy just hanging out with us, we were actually even thinking about ideas of doing call-ins where you guys could call in and talk to us or maybe even leave questions and stuff like that. But other than every time I start and end, I don't know what's going on with me, dude. I'm not that
It's
guy.
like, you know me, every time I do a podcast, I have to clear my throat.
Listen,
No.
okay. Well, guys, thank you. Don't forget, we're going on tour in literally less than 30 days. Get your tickets at thegeorgejankoshow.com. And I love you guys so much. I will see you guys next time.